Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to take you through how to build an app with Replit agents. Replit is an online coding environment where you can build front-end, back-end, and fully integrated full-stack apps. It's similar to how you would have a IDE on your laptop, but this works in the browser. So it's different in that way and allows you to not only code, but also deploy your apps using Replit. Replit's recently launched Replit agents, and it's in early access. I'm going to take you through how to build a simple app using Replit agents. We're going to take an example of a calorie and macro tracking app where you upload a picture of your meal. It should give you your calories for that meal, as well as how many grams of protein, fats, and carbs. So let's dive in. So this is the prompt that I'm using. I'm going to take you through the prompt in a bit. Essentially, what I talked about, that it will use GPT-4 to analyze an image of a meal, estimate the calories, and output it in JSON format. And you don't need to know this part of it, but JSON essentially is more structured data. So it's able to break down how many grams of protein, fats, carbs, and calories into a structured list that's easier to store in a database rather than the AI just giving you unstructured text as a chat response. So that's pretty much it. We're going to just be able to tag the meal as breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. You can see your past entries. Also, it will be tracked per user. So we need some level of user authentication and storing the past data of the user. I've just used some keywords for using some styling, but you don't need to know this. You could just explain what you want to build directly. And the AI agent has told us what will be there in this initial prototype. So it's got pretty much everything. Okay, so you can't use this styling, but that's fine. You have an option to build the initial prototype, and it's also giving you some options for additional features. I would always recommend going with the initial prototype first, because once you've got that checked off, then you can build additional features on top of it. I, as a manager, just have to approve this plan, so I have approved it. And it's going through all the steps on the right in this chat interface. So it's creating a database, it's creating Python code, showing the progress here. You don't need to know what this means, neither do I. And over here, it's starting to create all the files. So it's creating the files here. And these are some of the integrations and other things that are also involved in the whole process. So I'm going to go back to progress here. And this is pretty much how it is. So it's actually just taking the prompt that I've given and creating all the code for it. It's showing you a breakdown of all the progress that's done already. And yeah, and if you're curious, you can actually go and see what the code is. But if you don't want to, you can just skip that. Just wait for it to complete. That's once it completes, then you can start previewing what it's done. And with AI, there's always going to be a lot of debugging, so be prepared for that. What it's doing now, I can tell you, is that it's installing the relevant packages. So since I said that I need to use OpenAI as API, it's installing the OpenAI package as well as a bunch of other packages. And for example, it's using an email validator. So for our register and sign in, we'll put in our email. It's installing a package that can help with that. And installing other packages, and it's at every step it's reflecting. So it's seeing what is missing and then installing that. So that's the good aspect of Replit Agent, is that it's not just running the underlying LLM, but it's doing some more processing in the background. So this is all what a developer would have to figure out on their own, but Replit, it's just being able to figure out these things are required. So as you can see, it does take some amount of time. And once it even previews the build, you will need to do some level of debugging. So it does require patience and persistence. Okay, at this step, it's asking me for my OpenAI API key. And this is a very good interface to show this. So it's just realizing that I need to put in this key and prompting me for it. Whereas as a developer, I would need to go into an .env file and put this by myself. For those who are not familiar with what an API key is, we would probably cover that in a separate video. And how to get your OpenAI API key, that's also something that we could look at. All right, perfect. So it's created a login page. So this is the preview. It's going to make it a bit bigger. And we don't have an account yet. So I'm going to go to need an account. I'm just going to select email. I'm going to put in a password. And it handles authentication by itself within Replit. That's great. So you don't need to install anything new for managing this. So I'm going to log in now with my username and password. Perfect. So this is a list of all our entries. So we don't have any entry yet. So that's something we can add later. And at the same time, the chat has asked us, is it running? And I'm going to say, yes, it is. I'm going to just send that across and still continue doing this. So I have a image of a pizza that looks pretty good. Let's say it's lunch. And I'm going to sit and analyze. I'm going to press analyze meal. And it's asked me a few more questions whether I can do all these things. I will do that in a bit. But I can see there is this one thing here, which is, this is called the dev tools, and it has console, network, etc. So this is something that you should pick up. We've got our first error, so great. That's perfect. I'm going to just copy paste the error here. Right. So this is essentially what a product manager would do, is to copy paste these errors. And I'm just going to cut this out. And I'm going to say, face this. Okay. Registering and logging in worked. Face the below error while trying to analyze the uploaded meal image. Okay, let's see what it does. So it's going to figure out that there is an issue somewhere and probably go into the code as well, if you understand it, to be able to see where the problem is. Okay. So it's used a GPT-4o vision preview. We could probably just use GPT-4o because it's a multimodal model. This is what I see. And sometimes you can rely on the AI directly for them to solve the problem. But sometimes if you have some knowledge, you can actually give it additional information saying that, hey, just use GPT-4o model, and you can provide some more instructions to it if you have that knowledge. I think the max tokens also is a bit on the lower side. We can try to figure out what is the error from our side as well. And at any point, you can go to progress and see what's happening. So I don't see anything directly being worked on, but this is what you can see. And it always helps to review the code to see all these things, whatever you understand. So some of it I absolutely don't understand, but other things I try to get better at. And yeah, so let's see what was the actual change. So it's actually made updates in that file that we were looking at. And let's see. Yeah, it's probably seen that, okay, there's something wrong in this section. Okay, so it's done 2 updates, and you can see these 2 are modified. Okay, I'm going to log in again. Okay, new meal. Use the same meal here. I'll close that out. Analyze meal. And you can always go to the dev tools and see what's happening. So this is a success. So it was handed as a success, but okay, I think there's the same error has come back again. Okay. You can copy paste the same error. Facing the same error. Now what I could do is it's used GPT-4 vision preview. I could say, just use GPT-4o. I'll put this in quotes as the model because it is multimodal and can handle images. Increase max tokens and give, right, for the prompt, input prompt, give an example of the template that the JSON should follow. And okay, images should be fine. And extra logging to see what is the root cause of the issue and figure out all the valid JSON errors. Right. So let's give this a try and see how it works. Okay, let's see if there's anything happening in progress. Okay, go to utils. And I think there's one more thing about the JSON is that we could have it require JSON structured outputs. Okay, it's logged in again. Okay. It's giving me lunch, but it's not able to calculate the calories yet. I'm going to upload the same model, same picture, sorry. I'm going to analyze meal. And there's another error. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say in the call to OpenAI's API, use this. right? You can set the response format. Okay. No, it is still not working. Let's try this out. Current one seems to be deprecated. Oh, it's still using GB4. Okay, so one benefit of this is that we can make changes ourselves. So I'm going to make this change myself. Okay, once the agent is done working, I'm going to make this change. Okay, going to go here, change this out, response format, JSON object. I'm going to stop this and run it again. And yeah, so it's restarting the app. So sorry, I'm going to save this. And add this again. All right, so it's added the listings, but it's not been able to calculate the actual calories. I'm going to add the same pizza picture, shut the dev tools for this. And we can always use the dev tools as a way to find out. So this is the request that's going about, and it was pending, and status is 200. So that's a good sign. We weren't redirected, but we didn't face any errors. So that's a good sign. Oh, perfect. So it's been able to capture finally at the breakfast, and 1200 calories. It's a lot. 60 grams of protein, 130 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. So yeah, that's how it worked. So we were able to build this out, and I'm going to show you the database as well. Okay. Show all contents. All right. So we have this meal table, and then we have those same uploads that were added here. And then it's actually broken it down into calories, protein, carbs, fats, and what meal type, what timestamp. Yeah, pretty much, what we wanted. And this is the database. This is how it looks. And this is the preview. So congratulations, you built yourself a meal tracking app by yourself. You can go ahead and deploy this, which I will attempt to. I'm going to go for auto scale because I think that's a bit more cheaper. So I'm going to go for the earliest versions, and I'm going to talk about this as a calorie tracker. Let's see. Okay, it's actually available. And we're going to deploy it so that we can see that this is live. And yeah, I think this was a good example. While this is deploying, I'm going to just say, yes, it did. And I'm just going to update the agent. Yeah, I'm going to just update the agent while this deploys. And again, you don't need to know anything of this, what's happening. It is deploying to the world. And okay, so it's marked the build the initial prototype is completed. I'm going to say good. This is still deploying. We could go back and add more features, like the initial message from the bot was, do you want to add these 4 more features? We could think of something similar or the same features and actually get that done. So that could be a new build over there. And the best part about Replit is that it also has checkpoints. So it's done a checkpoint to here. So build the initial prototype. And that helps you prevent any issues. So if you try to build something further and there's an issue, it's easier to roll back and then start again versus trying to fix what you've done incorrectly. And yeah, and as you can see, there's 0 code that was written. The only change that I made was to change the model. And it requires some information on how to get to these things because AI is not perfect and AI can't access the latest information directly. So you have to help it out along the way, like I did with the JSON objects. And yeah, this is a good example of something that anyone can build. It's just taken us like 20-25 minutes to do this. And it's something that's useful, something that anyone can use. So yeah, it's like the journey of building these software for one is very interesting. So you want something for yourself, why not build it? It'll just take a few minutes. And if it resonates with everyone else, so why not actually put it out there for everyone to see? And yeah, okay, this is also deployed. So I'm going to open this up in a new browser and it's going to ask me for the same login details. I think I would need to create my account again because that would be a test account. No, okay, it worked here as well. And yeah, you can see that your meal entries, we could obviously beautify this much better, but that is the dashboard and you can even go for a new meal again. So I'm going to go for the same pizza. Analyze the meal. A lot of improvements could be done that once it's actually completed, don't leave me hanging here. Just redirect me. I am going to see whether this is actually done by going to network tab. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's also done perfectly. It's giving me a different reading, which is strange, but that's AI for you. So yeah, that was a quick example of what you can build with Replit agents. Hope you liked this video. And if you did, please and subscribe and leave a comment. It really keep me going with these kind of videos and tell me what you would like me to build next. All right. Thank you.